I think B2B is a little bit easier for an entrepreneur to sort of to get to take off or get to lift off.
Right, welcome to Hack to the Future with Kyle Roof. I'm Kyle Roof, and today with me is Jeffrey Dirrenberger, the founder and CEO of Vault Innovations. Welcome, Jeffrey. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Kyle.
Now, Jeffrey, you've got a pretty cool model where you partner with companies, and I think you take a stake in that company through that partnership to bring in the technology aspect of what you do. Kind of walk us through the process. How does that happen initially, or how does that conversation even start with a company?
Yeah, so I've done it all different ways, but I mean, I guess this is a quick background of it. I've been in the tech space for about 16, 17 years. And so I started, my career launching a startup in the esports gaming space with my brother and a couple of his friends. So I kind of started my first business many years ago. And throughout that process of me running my own businesses, being a developer and a designer, helping other people kind of launch businesses, I started Vault Innovation almost 11 years ago. And really the vision was just to launch a bunch of startups. I saw so many people struggle and fail with their idea or business. And when you start asking why or how or what happened, they really would struggle with the tech. And that's why I kind of started Vault, was to build my own ventures, but then it sort of evolved into what other people need help building their ventures. Let me be their tech partner or their product partner. That's how it started. Now it's evolved a lot since then, and we've done a lot of different takes on it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people out there are, what I like to call subject matter experts. Like, they have expertise in a field, right? They're a nurse that, has worked in a hospital for 10 years. They're a teacher that's, seeing the administration of the inside and how, maybe bogged down it is or not ineffective it is. So those are the kind of the key people that I would say I have attracted over the years, are people that know an industry, know it in and out, have lived and breathed it, and then they want to change something. They want to improve something, but they're not coders, they're not product people, and so that's where we attract people at Vault.
When they come to you, are they coming to you with the idea of, hey, I realize I don't have this expertise for the tech that I want to build, and they want that kind of equity partner? Or do they kind of come to you thinking this is more of a service situation they want you to build, and then it kind of moves it?
Yeah, it's really evolved. It's really kind of all over the place, to be honest. But yes, I would say earlier in our existence at Vault, we were all ventures. Everyone that came to us, we were working on either whether it's our own venture or partnering with someone else as their partner or co-founder. As of the last maybe 3 or 4 years, that's changed. We now just offer services. So I would say it's kind of both. People come in and go, hey, I need a tech partner. I'm looking for an equity partner. I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. But there also are a lot of people that go, hey, I just need help building it. I need a good team. And sometimes I'll take, exceptional interest in one, and we, figure out something creative to be partners with. But it's not something to do lightly. Partnership is kind of like a marriage. You really, you sign the paperwork. Well, you should. Some people don't, but you should be. And, you really are committing to a long-term thing. This is not like, hey, let's go on a honeymoon and have some fun for 6 months, because most businesses aren't making money in 6 months. So it really is a long-term play. And so, for us, when we're evaluating partnerships with companies, it's something that you evaluate. It's something you really think through and get to know the person and the team behind it. It's not just like, oh, there's a good idea, let's go. You really got to get to know the founders.
Oh, for sure. I can see the situation where somebody comes in and it's like, I don't know about this idea. Maybe we're sticking to the services.
Yes,
not so much a partnership, for sure. So the people can know, give us like the 30-second elevator on Vault in terms of like what kind of technology do you grab?
Yeah, I did a lot of gaming stuff early in my career. So that was obviously all B2C. I shouldn't say obviously. A lot of it was B2C. There was B2B stuff in there, but I would build online league tools. I dabbled some stuff with actually game development itself, game studio type stuff. And so I've done a lot of stuff in esports. That is a little bit more B2C, but I would say I've kind of transitioned to more B2B. I think that's kind of our core focus. As a team that's built on, launching new products, there's a mindset there that is, I don't want to say formulaic. I mean, nothing is really formulaic. There's a process there that's very formulaic, but it's very unique for each business. And but the biggest thing that we like to focus on is kind of B2B. And so it's a lot more tangible. You kind of know your target market, and you don't need, I would say in general, you don't need as much sort of marketing budget or marketing sort of power behind you to sort of take those first successful steps. And so, B2C, it could be an entertainment thing, or, something a little bit more subjective. And now you're kind of going, well, how does that take off? I mean, you have to have the right name, the right brand, the right experience. And so I think B2B is a little bit easier for an entrepreneur to sort of to get to take off or get to lift off. And so I would say that's what we focus on. So B2B service companies primarily, where they're, technically can provide the service without technology, is really common for us. And we build the technology to sort of, make it a better experience, make it easier to use, make it so that people go, yeah, I want to do this. And then also we'll build SaaS companies, so software as a service companies, where the product is essentially the service, and so there isn't really a service component; it's a product. But B2B is where we focus.
When somebody comes to you, how much does your experience in business kind of bleed over into actually helping them in terms of like not just building the technology, but maybe how to run a business effectively, or how to price things effectively, or
It does, and I wrestle with this too, me personally, just kind of what you just said there. Like a lot of people, I would say, technically come to my company more of like they're waving the tech flag, like, hey, I need an engineer, I need a product team. But I would say, I mean, 8, 9 times out of 10, just in a 10-minute conversation, 30-minute conversation, you're backing it up, kind of going like, well, why? What's the point? Have you talked to people? Have you had any customers? Once you start backing it up a little bit, you find that there's more they need to do than just build product. And so, yes, me as an entrepreneur, I mean, the way that I build my team, we have 15 people on the team. The way that I look at anyone that's sort of doing this is you got to be kind of a T-shaped employee, T-shaped person, which is like, there's the vertical side of the T. You have to have a very strong skill set in some core focused things. If you're an engineer, or if you're sales, or if you're designer, whatever it is. But then you have to have that horizontal top of the T there, where you do know a lot of other skills. I mean, you have to know about finances. You have to know about selling. You have to know about HR and hiring and all those things to be an entrepreneur. So yes, I would say a lot of first-time entrepreneurs, we work with a lot of first-time entrepreneurs, and they'll come in with product waving the hand, but they need all of it. And so the biggest thing I think that we do and help out a lot is we can kind of give that confidence in like, yes, this is the right path. Not that this is going to be the right outcome, right? I mean, you don't know what's going to happen a lot of times, but the confidence in like, hey, you don't need to boil the ocean. Hey, you don't need to overbuild. Do this in a leaner fashion. Yes, go sell at this stage. Yes, this is a good price model to start. That's a really valuable part of our service, is to help people kind of move through this rather than sort of freezing up every step of the way, right? It's like every step they take, it's like, oh man, well, am I pricing it too high? Am I pricing it too low? We can kind of give that confidence on that side as well, so that you can move. You can keep going. I've seen so many people stall out and they get hung up on, well, I didn't launch the website because I didn't like the logo or something. And you're like, well, that's not, that's a whole different conversation, right? But yes,
for sure.
Launching a business is way more than the tech. It's way more than the tech. And I would actually argue the tech is becoming less important. I mean, to be honest, I'd argue with it.
That makes an interesting point. What are things you've identified that those companies that make it versus those companies that don't? Maybe it's not exactly having the most wow tech, but maybe it's having something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the map, to be honest. But my experience, I mean, I would say I built a lot of software, not what I would call like kind of hard tech. And what I mean by that is like I'm not inventing like a new, pacemaker to go in, a biomedical device or some crazy new algorithm, right? Like I build software. I build companies that utilize software a lot. And so if you think about what software, uses AI. It has all those things wrapped inside of it, but it's really making an experience. It's making something easier. It's making something faster. Um, it's making something automatic. Whatever it is. So I mean, that's kind of the name of the game. So UX. I started my career as a UX. I mean, they didn't have that title back then, but I was a designer, and UX was sort of my main, I guess, skill. And it was really like thinking about complex things and making it simple. And if you can do that as a business, fundamentally, is if your business is doing that, you've got a good chance to succeed. Back when I started my, as going through college and just being a young adult, there was always this thought of like innovation was like this huge leap forward of, like you invented something new. I mean, I have a mechanical engineering background and always loved physics. And, the word invention was such a strong word for me growing up. And it was like, you made something new, right? You made like a new thing. But I think in tech and the way tech is so accessible now, it's not, it's not like you have to make something 10 years ahead. And matter of fact, that might not even work because it's 10 years ahead. You're making something that maybe exists or is already happening. You're making it better. So the common thing that I see people do is doing that. It's a little bit simpler. So one of our ventures was a digital wait list, right? I mean, it's everywhere now. It's a commoditized service, but it would text you when your table was ready. But back when we built it, there wasn't out there. And
Mm.
it's a real simple thing. And you would go into these restaurants like, why would you not use this, right? It's so simple. And there's all these steps around getting them to use this technology that you have to break down. So you can't just make it simple once they're in. You've got to make it simple to buy. Like, hey, we're going to give you the device. We're going to give you the iPad, to put it on. We're going to make it super simple login. We're going to give it to you for free. Whatever it's needed to just reduce the barriers is such a key part of innovation, specifically in tech.
I like that a lot. That the
Yeah, and
um,
I mean, and I'll say this with a lot of companies that I meet after they've launched, after they're live, and they're like, "Well, we're having trouble, or we need some help, or change it up, whatever." And a lot of times, people will think about the experience when someone's using it, but the experience to get them to start using it is just important. What's that setup? What's that? Do I understand how to use this? And Apple was really good at this. Apple still is very good at this. I mean, they're kind of the name brand of like the quote experience. I just went to Disney World. I just got back from Disney World with my family, and they're kings of experience, from sound, visual, the perception of, customization to you, even though it's not right. And they do so much more than just like, well, hey, did you like this ride? It's like in the line waiting for the ride. It's the getting off the train to go. I mean, it's all of it. It's an experience, and that goes so well. I see so many early stage startups that have that mindset of like, look, they're never going to get into the product unless they get onboarded correctly, unless they, it's easy to get through that point of activation, and then they're off to the races. So I see a lot of people neglect that because they're just not experienced with it. They've never knew that was a variable.
I saw an interesting thing where Disneyland had somebody increase the swipe time, like the swipe to processing time on the credit card machine, and everyone thought like, oh, that's so cool because it actually gets people through the line faster, so people can get their products factored. But what Disney realized, that it allowed them to sell more. So it kind
Yeah,
of gave that experience of, oh, this is a great experience. I can't believe how fast that was, and I got my stuff, and now I'm on my way. But Disney realized that they were losing money in the fractions of seconds that it was taking a normal processor to process the credit card. Same kind of thing. You get the
yeah.
experience, and then at the same time, that efficiency leads to much greater sales. What's the best ride at Disney World?
Oh, the best ride at Disney World. There's a lot of debate, hot debate amongst the team here, but I think the winner. I have to say, it was a close tie between Guardians of the Galaxy and Tron and Avatar. Those are my three favorite. Those are just amazing rides. I loved Tron growing up as a kid, and they have one at Disney, which is weird. I don't think of that as a Disney brand, but it is. Um, those were awesome rides, though. Just fun roller coasters, totally unique. And again, it's like you walk up to Tron, and it's not a ride. I mean, I've been to Six Flags, I've been to Cedar Point. Love Cedar Point, one of my favorite places. It's just a ride. You go on the ride, and the ride is awesome.
Yeah.
There's a whole experience. I mean, you go into Tron, it's like that neon world. This music is like very kind of dramatic and tense. There's this pulsating kind of, you feel like you're sort of inside the Matrix kind of thing. And they could have just made it a ride, but they made an experience. So very cool stuff.
No, I completely agree. My little guy is 9, and while he's tall enough to do the rides, like the roller coasters, he doesn't want to do any of the roller coasters. So I'm not getting to those.
Yes. Oh yeah. I totally know that. We had some kids in the family that were a little anxious as well.
Kind of looking forward towards AI.
Yeah, I mean it is interesting. It's obvious. I mean, AI has been around for a long time. The Gen AI stuff when OpenAI released ChatGPT 3.0, I believe it was, like last fall. Obviously, game-changing stuff to the consumer. Um, it's interesting. I mean, I've been doing tech again about 15 years. There's been a lot of technology evolution, and there's been a lot of trends that have kind of died out. Or not trends, but like technology, right? That just didn't take off. And there's been a lot of stuff that has. And I mean, every time something really starts taking off, there's this fear, what is this going to mean? People are going to lose jobs, careers are going to be over. And that's, I would say the Gen AI boom right now, it's very real. Number one, I mean, awesome tools, amazingly awesome. You can create so much stuff. But I mean, it's just another evolution, like I wouldn't say this is like the, oh my God, the sky is falling thing. It's very exciting. It's very awesome. But I think from the day to day, like entrepreneur, the day to day, like technologist, what I'm starting to see, and I don't think this is really like a hot take or anything, is that there's the people that are really like building that tech, right? That are building the LLMs and actually like making these, human experiences. And then there's people that are using those tools to, build software around or on top of or whatever it is, right? And I think for the people that are that 1% or 0.5% or 0.25%, very small percent that are like really in the heavy part of it, things are just blowing up, rocket ship to the moon. I mean, these people are doing things that they've never been able to do. But for the rest of the people, yes, we're getting answers quicker. Yes, you can build things quicker. The Stable Diffusion stuff is insanely awesome. You can build websites. You can like port websites. I mean, you can do all this as well. But it's now just new tools, and you got to be able to use them. There's no question you got to learn how to use them. There's some people that can do it better than others, and there's becoming a gap there. But it's exciting. I think it's just enabling people to make more stuff, make more content. And then there's, just like anything else, there's going to be a bar that or a gap that goes. There's going to be people that really master it, know how to do it. And there's going to be the people that just like, hey, tell me how to use it. I'll use it like a tool. So from the startup business perspective, I've seen, obviously there's a huge AI boom in terms of investment and exits and all that stuff. But it's a very weird market right now in tech. I know a lot of people that don't have jobs, have gotten laid off. Are kind of what's going on. And some of it is a little bit of an AI evolution, but it's not really that. I think it's just evolving in general. I mean, as I said, I asked my wife, so we have 3 kids, and I asked my wife, what do you think would be more important for our kids should they even go to higher education at this stage? What is college, all that? Should they study like writing and marketing, or should they study computer science and engineering? And, I think 10 years ago, that question was like, that's the dumbest question. Of course it's engineering, of course it's computer science. I don't know if it's as simple as that anymore. I mean, being able to communicate, articulate your thoughts. Yes, Gen AI is helping you do that, but you still need to prompt it. You still need to control it and, make it do what you want it to do in a way. And I still think that's going to be the king. So it's exciting. It's awesome. And it's a little unknown, but AI has been around a long time. The Gen AI stuff is awesome. and everyone should be using it. I mean, entrepreneurs shouldn't be afraid of it. Service providers shouldn't be afraid of it. Um, it's something that's going to enhance the people that want to be enhanced, and the rest of the people, you're going to use the tools that the other people are enhancing. So, I mean, I think it's just kind of an evolution. I mean, I remember when the smartphones came out, the iPhone came out, it was like, okay, am I going to switch building web sites and web apps and actually start building another language in mobile apps? And you're kind of like, I don't know if there's a really good use case for that. And you started doing it because people wanted it. It was a thing that people needed.
Mhm.
So people need it. People want that customer support, that experience, that better experience. And so it's here to stay. It's just another evolution, though. I'm not like psyched out about it. Like, oh my God, the world's ending. It's an evolution of technology.
Majors. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's 100%. It's attention to detail. Like I remember when Google really started becoming mainstream. It was like 20 some years ago now. Um, I remember there was a meme that went around, like someone asked you a question, and you could type in your question into Google, and it would create a little GIF, and you'd send it out. It'd be like, just Google it. The answer is right
yes.
there. Why
Yeah.
are you asking me? Because it's again, just people don't know, and they don't have the confidence to do it. It's going to continue to be that way. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see like the next levels of it, to be honest. I mean, right now it's really exciting, but it's still so far to go where we're in that true sci-fi, world.
Yeah, it can go any direction. And I think what's exciting though is it's all of this is still the Wild West. You don't need to
Yes. Yeah. Love to chat with anyone to hear about an idea they're cooking up, or any way I can help, again, launch a business or even optimize their business. But yeah, you can reach out to me via email, jeffrey@vaultinnovation.com. Go to the website, vaultinnovation.com. We have resources on there for entrepreneurs to look at, to help them out to some of the topics we even talked about. But obviously, you can ping me on LinkedIn as well. So, um, but yeah, it was awesome being on here, Kyle, and chatting with you. All right, take care.